Okay, we are back online. Hey Brian, how are you doing?
Good. Yourself?
Good, 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 good. And we have Kailu here today, so it's gonna be fun. Kailu may or may not, answer publicly, but he's there and he's always there with us, so that's great. So, a lot of research has gone yesterday into this whole multi-part platform thing. I think Diogo kind of posted a very good proposal there. Let's just take a look at Diogo's proposal, and then we can um, move forward from there. So I like what he was doing. I know Paul also put a lot of time and effort into this. I just want to recognize the work that people have been doing that kind of support the initiatives and the work that we've been doing. Why don't I just kind of let me increase the screen here a little bit. It's just a nice reminder for people that it's not always code, 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 and it's not always, research, research, POC, POC. It's software engineering is a little bit of flavor of both, You do this sometimes, and you're gonna do that sometimes. It depends, on what the ask is. So let me just find what Diogo and those who are,
I like how in a team like ours, how the room seems to light up when there's a problem.
yeah,
Everyone.
yeah, they're
Mm,
engineers. They love
mm,
this. They do this for fun. Like,
mm.
okay, so let's see here. So I am looking at our chat. And I am seeing this is the stuff that Wardy went kind of completely full on. Oh, there it is. Is that it? No, that's not it. Hold on. So this is all work that went into this, right? A lot of research and stuff like that. Let's just see here. So Paul was really excited about this dynamic approach, and then he did this whole thing. Just trying to find what Diogo said because that's probably the answer that I was looking for, at least for the first iteration. I don't think it's also this one. Gee, did he remove it? I don't think he did, but
It went on for ages, mate. It might be way up.
yeah, it might be a little bit further because, yeah, this is the beautiful thing about this group. I'll tell them, hey, here's a problem that we need to solve, and I need people to help me solve this problem, and people will just go and is that it? Format data. No, that's Paul, and then so this is all. Uh, hang on, I'll find it. I'll find it real quick. And for the people watching on the stream, if you haven't joined the standard community by now, I don't know what you're doing, but you're missing out because all the fun happens behind the scene. Let's see, Diogo. It seems like the purpose property isn't going to the right value. This is today, a little bit earlier today. Here we go, here we go. Nope, 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 nope. A little bit further. I also know that the chat is pulling me back a little bit, so I might be scrolling in the same direction. No, he did do it in the morning because we were done around 11 or something like that. There it is. That's it. That guy right there. So let's just pick up this guy here, and we're gonna have to test it together, right? So let's see here what I'm gonna create a simple console application and just see here, is this actually true? Is this how it works? Is this what is supposed to happen? And then if we pass that stage and we know for sure that this is working for us, we can jump in on the next stage, which is basically going and saying, um,
I think we're going to have to do an amendment to RESTful Sense.
oh, we definitely would. I know that there are voices in our kind of organization or our community that's asking for, some sort of uh, not to have to change RESTful sense
Mm.
and basically work with what you got. But okay, there are two things that I really need to maintain within RESTful sense. First of all, it needs to not expose native models, right? You will never see that HTTP result or response or anything like that. It's all our own exceptions. We really write those exceptions are our own. But okay, let me just put here, so string token equals, and here's a token, and I'm gonna pass this token here, and then I want to give it the address to the standard, prepared in there. So I think I downloaded this yesterday. That's the one that Elbic gave us. There it is. So let me find, this is in my downloads folder. So let me copy that. I need to see it working first. I know, Diogo, I know if you're out there, I know that you tried it, but I need to show people that we tried it. That's really important for us. Okay, so this is the exact same file, and then my expectation here is that if I put the token in here, let me get a dummy token from here real quick. So, playground.
Just so you and the subscribers, the viewers know, if you subscribe to OpenAI, it's a different subscription than the API.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The API they're two different things. Is that
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Okay, so we have this, right? So that's a key. And then he said fine tune, find the file, and all that kind of fun stuff. And then he stopped right there at the bottom. So let's just see if that actually works. And then we have a bigger problem that we need to solve for that matter. So did it did it take off at all? Oh, I copied two mains inside of each other.
You're
And
copying my you're copying my coding style.
yep.
You either leave them out or don't have too many. That's all right.
Right, right. All right, let's see here. What is this? Static? Oh yeah, sure. Static. How did he do it without doing static though? That's weird. He must have done something different, but let's just see if that works. So let's just put the breakpoint here. Let's do this. Okay, so it went all the way down here, and then in the content, you guys can't see it thanks to StreamYard. But if I open this up, it basically is giving me the result, and that result is actually the file ID. So this works. This works very, very well. And we know that this works because it's giving us, so this is just for the people watching, this is the answer that it gave me basically. So that response like this. So it gave you the object, which is the model or the model type, and then the ID, the purpose, the file name, the bytes, created at, status uploaded, all of that good stuff. Now, the question here is, how do we have RESTful Sense support that, right? Uh, so here's the problem with this. We want to put this in a function where this multi-part form data content with multi-part content add and all of that fun stuff happens through a RESTful sense specific model, a localized model. That's the problem that we're trying to solve. Why is that important? Because if one day we decide that we don't want to use HTTP client anymore and we use something completely different, we don't break our existing clients because we abstracted away the consumer of RESTful Sense from the client of RESTful Sense. And someone might argue, be like, but you're passing in an HTTP client as an input. Well, we need to change that as well. We need that HTTP client or factory gets generated underneath. But with that in mind, I can't really pass these values in there. We need to pass something, whatever that something is. And I know Wardy have been, kind of knocking the door of, creating a dynamic type, and then Diogo went and created his own type, and then it got really weird for a while. I don't know what open read returns. Does it return? Oh, it returns a file stream. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And file stream is it's like string and all that. That's what I call native versus external, right? So if I go into open read in here, I bet you this is part of the system runtime. Yeah, this is a native thing that we can work with. And so is file stream, I'm assuming, because yeah. So what do you think, Brian? Any ideas? We need a model, and this
See,
model, go ahead,
I've
go ahead.
I've had a bit of a look at RESTful Sense, and we already have a post method, and the post method takes the URL fragment and a content, but the content, all we need, I've been looking at and wondering if we just need to test the content. But I was breaking your rule by using a native model, the multi-part form data context. But we need to see if that is coming in, and if that's coming in, we don't do any of the stringifying. We need to handle it differently as the T content.
Ah,
As the T content.
that's actually really smart. So what you're basically saying, instead of posting a a localized model. You want to post multi-part form data content.
Yep. Or in going down your path, we make our own model. But no matter what we do, we got to test for that model, and not do the stringification in that in that case, and then do the other way. Yeah.
Mm. What would that model look like if we decide to make a model?
Don't know. I haven't really looked in there. I
So
um
here's
I was
mhm.
very short on time yesterday, and I was really low on energy, and so after the meeting, I went to sleep. I saw everyone was working on the problem, and I went, that's enough engineers on that one, and went to
there's
bed.
there, there's enough engineers on the project. That's right.
And
So what I'm thinking, there's two things that we can do. We can give people an interface, and they need to implement that interface into their own local model, right? And this interface will dictate certain things, or we can do it just the basic way, basically going and saying, if you want to post this, here's the contract. So if I go and say public class, um, I don't know, file content like that, and we basically want to go and say, inside that file content, I want to pass few things, that are very specific to what we're trying to do here, right? Um,
yeah, I think it's just a dictionary of it has the file name and the stream. Yeah,
and that's
and
it.
maybe the media type. Not sure. Yeah.
And we're gonna have to pick up a specific method in RESTful sense. Well, we're in here, we're just doing post async,
Mm.
right? The difference here is that in RESTful sense, it will try to serialize into JSON. Well, we don't want it to serialize into JSON. We want it to just be a multi-part form data content,
That's the
right?
method. That's the method I thought we would attack. The conversion method. When that gets passed in and says, "Hang on a sec, this is a special model." We don't serialize that. We handle it differently. We build it. Yeah.
But wait, we can't do that today because remember this the matching, the switch matching,
Hmm.
kind of thing in RESTful. So let's just go to RESTful sense real quick. RESTful sense, there you go. And if you go on to the, let's see here, Brian. We'll get to the bottom of it. We'll figure it out.
Kalu's a clever engineer. I take it that if he has any ideas, he'll be chirping in.
Yeah, Kailuhu. Okay, so if you if you go into the clients, and yeah, there it is, Brian. So if it's coming in with type multi-part form,
Mm.
we can basically do something like how we convert this in here. And we go tell people, hey, do not convert this, just return it as is, right? I'm assuming that in here we're basically, like for the stream, we're basically going and saying, take that content, put it in a stream, and then add the media type to it and just return the content. Don't do any conversion.
Hmm.
Is that the answer?
My problem is, my friend, is Wrestle Sense is growing very
Yes.
silly at the moment, and I think we're getting to the point where we really need to look at, we just can't keep creating more and more and more methods.
Well, Christo's looking into this,
Mm,
I'm pretty sure you as well. I'd like to kind of have a side stream.
mm,
The thing about these projects is that they're like it's like watching a Marvel movie, right? You have all these side stories that are happening, right? But there's a main timeline, right? And usually, like these tools, they evolve because of the domain systems. This is one situation where we're building a tooling system that's relying on a utility system, or a utility system that relies on a utility system. But yeah, I understand. We need to kind of take a look at RESTful Sense. I also want RESTful Sense to be restructured architecturally different because we learn a lot more now. We know a
mm,
lot more now. So we have a lot more maturity. Like I don't, when did I start RESTful Sense? It was a long time ago, a long, long time ago. It must have been over Kailu. We've been using RESTful Sense forever, right?
mm.
I think the earliest the earliest comment was 2 years ago, and I think it was even before that. Like I know that there's one for 3 years ago. Check this out, right? So it has been around for a while, right? And it's been used in so many different projects. So I want to kind of just re-architect without breaking anything. That would be nice. Okay. All right. But, back to my question here. If we push this as a multi-part form, let's just assume, and we specify the type in here, right? What's going to happen is that we're going to go down here and say, hey, instead of creating stream content, I want you to create a multi-part
Hmm.
content. And then the
That's
found it. Uh,
yeah, that's exactly the approach I was going to take. Yep.
is that the way we want to do this? Is multi-part form something that comes with the .NET framework?
I've seen it before, and I'm pretty sure it is something in the framework. I think it's in the HTTP library.
Well, here's the source code. Multi-part form. Oh, you're not kidding. It's right here.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I hate that code so much. It's so bad. It's so bad. Um,
I was just wishing HTTP client had an interface and we could do some AOP on it. It'd be such a good
yeah,
answer. It'd be a good
seriously.
answer for RESTful sense.
Well, then the other thing would be, let me find the draw IO here because I need to structure this a little bit. The other thing that I'm thinking here, Brian, is let's just assume we played it this way. We still need something to read a file, right? Do you consider a broker that reads files a utility broker or a domain broker?
Ah,
So these are
that's a
two
good
brokers. Yeah,
that's a good question. I'd say domain.
right. So yeah, it is domain actually, because if you say this is my file service, right? Really, it's what's the difference between getting data from a database versus getting data from a whatever else is out there that's sitting underneath, which basically means that how the system is going to be structured is that we're going to need a file broker, something that reads a file from a system. We're going to need our API broker, which we already have today. And then we're going to need two services to support that upstream. So this is the file service.
Do we need a file broker or do we need a stream broker?
Well, you need something to go
Mm.
on disk and read.
I'm just saying that it might not come from a stream, file stream. I'm just saying if it's more generic, a stream.
No, no, you're right. In which case, you're basically discussing the difference between, let's see here. You're basically saying, do I put the responsibility of reading the
Mm.
data from the file and handing the stream to me on the end user that's going to read this file? Or do I put this responsibility on myself and let the end user just give me the URL to that file? Right? So either way, hey Elbic, either way, this might be. Well, let's ask this guy. Let's see. Elbic, what do you think? So do we tell the file? So we want to read a file and we want to take that file and upload it to OpenAI, right? So do we let the user read the file and just give us the stream as an input parameter? Or do we let the user give us the URL, wherever this file is, and we read that file from them and basically create the stream ourselves? Kailu, feel free to chime in as well.
He has in private chat.
Yeah,
My thoughts here is we may have a service feeding in the data, and it may not even write the file. It just might be generating memory streams that we want to use.
right. So files dot upload async, right? And no, we're gonna have to have a file broker because look, for the customer perspective, I want them to give me the path to that file, right? Or we can go and say file content, and this file content will have, basically, so this is new file content, and inside that file content, we need to specify the path, and we need to specify the purpose, and they need to specify whatever else, is going on. And then we take that and we process it in an orchestration service underneath that will handle that. Now, to your point, you're right. What if they just want to give us,
Eventually, that file path and everything you get will be converted to a stream, and so we will be creating internally a method that will be
yes,
taking a stream. Why don't we expose both?
I was going to say this. I want to expose both, right? I want to go, but how do you expose both on the same model? Like, do we go and say the file content, hey, Flip is back. I vote for Brian approach, stream as input. Okay. You have votes for your side.
Yeah.
So so file content like this, right? I think Kailu said a couple of things. A combined model, orchestration. Yeah, yeah, Kailu. That's where I'm thinking exactly, Kailu. I'm a little worried though because you and I think exactly the same at this point in time. So we're gonna have to hear everybody else. But if I say, you have a file, you have a path, you have a stream, you have a purpose. How do we teach people that it's one or the other? And is this a good model? We could put documentation that says, hey, if you define the file path, but what if the user provided both? Which one do we honor? Do we honor the stream or do we honor the file path? Which one do we honor? Right. Did you spell the T on your keyboard, Brian?
Yeah,
Yes,
I just sent the coffee everywhere.
I noticed. Okay. You give your computer are you okay though? Did you burn yourself or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Just doing a mop up.
Yeah, we are not doing the pass and streaming the same model though, right?
So Diogo says, why not have the stream? Because we're smart people. The people that will be using the system might be really, really junior people or have very little experience. And telling them to go create a stream is kind of an overwork. We're trying
Yeah,
to make it simpler.
I get this argument from him all the time, Diago.
Literally everybody on this stream, yeah, it could be, oh, what's the problem? Just read a file and give us the stream, right? Believe me when I tell you it might cause some people anxiety. We have to simplify this. We have to make it really dumb. Ah, Rami says, well, the file may need some special permissions. That's another thing. We need to throw an exception then. Be like, when you're reading the file and you don't have access to it, it will be a part of this file service that we're trying to build, right? So we're basically going and saying, uh, see, no project is ever going to be like streamlined. You're going to run into road bumps like these, and you're going to have to adjust as you go. And that's why these streams keep going. If we're going to repeat the same thing every day, I'm done. I'm going to go work as a greeter at Walmart. Be like, I'm done. I figured it out. You know, uh, the only way I can see which would allow offering both options without being really, really bad with the model is to base. Here's my proposal to have an overload, right? So you have an upload a file async that asks you for the path and then some model, or another one in here that will say, hey, if you are a smart guy and you want to do this way, then give me a stream in here. So one that will ask for path and one that will ask for a stream. I hate the fact that I can't have a way to pass in the model with alternation based on the properties. Like if you select one, you can have the other, and so on and so forth. And we
Elbic,
could.
sorry,
Mm,
mate.
mm.
Elbic, can we only upload one file, or is there multiple files?
I guess we are doing one by one.
But is it an option to upload multiple?
No. Let me double check.
Thanks. Also, I think your mic is coming from the laptop, not your headset, just so you know.
Okay.
So okay, Brian, what do you think about this approach?
I like that approach because it's very, very clear. There's no ambiguity with using a model with a dual purpose.
What about you, Kay? Kay says we can provide that option and process multiple file streams. Yes, that's true. Like even if the API doesn't offer that option, we can tell people, hey, you can process. That's to answer your question, Brian, about
Mm.
this whole idea of I really don't like the fact that I have to pass parameters because I so stupid. Anyway, so there's that option, that we have here in hand. You know what would be fun, Brian, if we had like in the future, if we had something like this, public class something, right? And you could have public X get set, and you have public Y get set, and you get to go and say alternative for Y. And this one you can go and say alternative for X, but that's business logic in the model, which I'm also against.
Mm.
So I'd rather enforce this rule through validation. Something that says, hey, you cannot pass both of these values at the same time. But how is Laser supposed to know that, for God's sake? Rami says, can you have overloads like file path model and file stream model? What do you think, Elbic? Can we do that?
Yeah, that's what we are talking about, right? In the
No, no,
first
no.
two lines.
No, no, no. He's
File
basically
path.
saying just pass the model.
Oh yeah.
Can we do that?
Um. That's not. So for that we need to do different services and
Yeah, because that's not a pure contract.
yeah.
That's the problem, Rami. We can't have multiple contracts coming from the same service. So it becomes a little problematic. What we can do though, we can have like, to your point, Rami, what we can do, we can have something like this, like OpenAI client dot files dot upload upload a file async, or OpenAI client dot files dot upload stream async, and these are mapping underneath to completely two different services. But I also think that approach is a little. I don't want technology to bend our will. I want it to be the other way around. We bend technology to our will. This is a limitation, basically. It's such a shameful thing, honestly. But for what it's worth, I think that's not too bad though, because you're basically saying, hey, there could be multiple options to access this, but there is a common model that you need to use across all. Is there anything other than purpose that we pass in? It's just purpose, that's all?
So I'm in the upload files and it has ID, object, bytes, created date, file name, and purpose.
So there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Got it. Got it.
Were you thinking about flattening the model altogether and just having them as parameters?
Well, you don't have optional.
Mm.
Well, how are you gonna do the optional thing, Brian? Like, how do you?
Mm. Different overloads, I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh, different models and different overloads. That's what you're saying? Then you need two different services because
Mm.
it's one service per model on the exposure layer, right? I got a whole lot of heat from some people saying, why are you sending completion and receiving completion? And I was like, well, you got to keep one model in. Pure contract, got to enforce that under all circumstances. No, okay, we can't hear you. You're on mute. Do you want me to unmute you? Nope. cannot unmute guests because they choose to mute themselves. You're on mute, son. Oh, so if you mute yourself, I can't unmute you. That's pretty smart. I like that. Privacy. I definitely don't want to hear the noises you make in the restroom while you're listening to the stream, so I appreciate that feature in a whole new level, for sure. Oh, I didn't say anything. No. Oh, sorry, that was Elbic. Sorry, not
Yeah.
no, okay, got it. Sorry, Case. You're fine. I didn't read the name. Too much, stuff going on. Okay, let's go with that approach then, people. Like, that's what we're gonna do. Like, we're gonna take this and we're gonna offer two overloads, and because these are considered primitive or native parameters, it will be okay. And then what's gonna happen architecture-wise, let's go over here. This is what's gonna happen. We're gonna have a file service and an API service. So it's not a stream broker anymore, Brian, because the stream is gonna be passed in as a parameter. So this is deliberately single purpose towards file. Do you agree with that? And then we have, well, then we're gonna have this whatchamacallit, a file file content service. We need a better name for this. So this is the file service. What do we call this one? The one that's integrated with the API. File model service or model file service? What would be a better name?
I was
File
wondering,
model.
just wondering a bit more generic. If is it just for models? Is it for the images as well?
Oh, that's a good question.
Uh,
Do you upload files for images?
Not sure. I think you can pass it a path to an existing file that it can use as a mask.
Wait, Diogo, is that the same problem that you ran into with the audio thing? That you wanted to upload an audio file? What did you do there? Did you do a multi-part form as well? I'll wait for him to answer that one. Because there's a little delay before the stream goes out, and YouTube does this intentionally, so they have AI scanning the content. So there's that 1 second. Oh, that was Catalan. That's right. That's right. I'm mixing everyone. I'm getting old. Getting old. That's what's happening. So I need a name for this one though. So this is the API broker. This is the OpenAI API broker, and this is the file broker. I can also call this file reader service. So this will become file service, which means we need a file orchestration service, right? You guys know the drill, right? And then
Uh,
this file
that
orchestration.
At times we'll be getting passed back stuff that we will be wanting to save, so I'm not sure about the file reader service.
What do you want to call it then?
It's just definitely a file service on our end. I'm not sure.
Fine,
Maybe we
file
are.
service. What do you want to call this one?
No, is it a resource service? Some sort of I don't know.
There's also another idea. I can call this external file service.
I like that say.
Is that better?
Yeah. But the OpenAI thing is also external.
I know.
Hey,
I just so you know, I have a bunch of answers in my head that I'm just trying to kind of let go one by one. I don't want to be dictating ideas. I want people to kind of churn in with us, you know? Look, let me just explain something. A big part of mentorship is that you hold all the answers that you know are perfect just to see what people come up with. And then I tell you this, 9 times out of 10, people sometimes beat every best option that I have in my mind. And I'll just keep it to myself forever. And sometimes they say exactly what I was going to. Diogo says fine-tuning file service. The problem is, do we use these files for other than fine-tuning purposes?
Yeah, we use. So I
We
was
do.
looking at the documentation.
For the
It says,
audio. For the audio.
yeah, yeah.
Felipe says Best of both worlds. Nice. Content service in OpenAI side. Content service.
But you know, I was thinking about naming file service as a file service and OpenAI file service. No, not
No.
OpenAI, but just a file service. External file service for OpenAI side and file
So
service for our side.
so
Flipping
files
the name.
like
Yeah,
this, because
That'd
that's
be
local. Mhm.
that'd be more consistent what we're doing with the other foundation services.
right. Because we so file broker works with our computer. So while OpenAI is external. So if we keep this name this way, maybe it's more beautiful.
Two things are hard in software engineering: naming variables.
We should train a model for it.
Why don't we ask this darn thing, right? Okay, why don't we ask this darn thing, right? Let's see here. Chat GPT.
You're gonna
We ha
you're gonna toast her a name.
Yeah, we have two services. One of them reads a file from disk. Is it disk like this? And the other um, uh, um, um, uploads file to an external API. My fellow engineers and I are struggling with naming these services. Can you help, please? File reader service. Did I say? Oh, file uploader. External API uploader. Upload service. But the problem is that this service is gonna do read file from API. It's gonna do so upload is not gonna work. File gateway service. File gateway service. File gateway service. It's not too bad. Yoga says in their documentation, they say files are used to upload documents that can be used in features like fine tuning, but there's many others, right, Diogo? So
Yeah,
it can't be just fine tuning. In the case of audio files, they are uploaded directly in the audio request. Oh, shucks. Why can't they be consistent for once? Gee. I know why, because they don't want to save those. That's the problem. It's just being cheap. Kailu says for file broker, file process service. Well, that will get mixed up with file processing service, Kailu, which has its own meaning, right? So that's not gonna work.
Roll the dice again. Hit regenerate.
Fine. Oh, that you have disk reader service. And then retrieve file, send file, file reader. My brain hurts. Document service. How about this? Document service, Felipe says.
Ooh, maybe AI document service because it's
Close. And you know what? You guys got it, actually. So if we do, we could say AI file service, and this will be just file service. Hacky? Sure. Give me a better one. I don't care if we spend the whole stream just figuring out a name. I mean that's part of it. Ask ChatGPT. Kailu's like, ask for a similar word to process. Fine, let's take a look. But is it processing, Kate? Like, is it even processing? Like, fundamentally, what are alternatives to the term process? Procedure, workflow, operation, activity, function, task. Nah. So So file broker, OpenAI file API file broker, and then file service. I want this to be file service for a particular reason because this is all about OpenAI. The library is called OpenAI. So when you say file, you're talking about the file for OpenAI, right? Do we call, what do you guys think? Do we call this stream service? We can also call this IO service.
And we haven't used local file, local keyword now services. You can say local file service and
That's a great,
file service.
man, that's a great idea. Local file service. Do DOS Days says, this is so comforting to know I'm not the only one that, oh yeah. Oh, believe me, DOS days, there's at least half a century of experience into this channel right now, at least. And it's always been like the joke. You guys don't know the joke? There's a very famous joke, the joke here is, let me just show you because, a lot of people, when I say this, people say I made this up. I didn't. There are two things that are difficult in programming. Let me just show you. There. There are two hard things in computer science, cache validation and naming things. I didn't make this up. Martin Fowler did. It's really hard. Try having a kid and find the name for them. You'll see it's a lot easier than naming a variable. So let's see what Diogo said. IO file service. What do you think about that? IO file service. No, no game.
Yeah, IO is pretty big word for me. So local. I like local.
Yeah, I kind of like local as well. Sort of.
Rami says, is the service for file broker is going to write files or just read? Just read for now. We don't know, but it's just read for now. I hope we don't use it to write anything, but never say never, like the great Justin Bieber says.
I
That's
think
that's
it can generate models for you, and you can save them.
Ooh. Okay. Okay, there you go. The Australian beast strikes again. There you go. What did Kailu say? Good. Good what? You can't just say good. Let me
Yeah.
tell you.
Yes.
Let me tell you guys a funny thing about Kayla. We've known each other for a long, long time, and one of the, I remember we had like a big team of like 24 people, and I told him go ahead and review code. You're gonna be the one reviewing people's code, and he reviews a boatload of code, like a lot of code, right? He got to the point where he just doesn't say a sentence anymore. He would just say line. Do you remember this guy? Line. He doesn't even say what. He just says line. He's basically saying there's an extra line in here or you need a new line in here, right? Okay, he's saying file IO service. Okay, file IO file service or file IO service. So this is going to stay file service. I know that for sure. I'm not going to change that. So you can only work in this area. Sorry, Elbic, it's just what it is.
And so I
He
was
says both make sense. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Kay. Elbic.
so there is this validation and file generation side of things. How we are gonna tackling that?
The validation of the file generation side of things.
So there are two aspects. When you are uploading a file, you can use built-in CLI from the OpenAI to
Uh-huh.
validate whether your file is in good shape or not. And then based on this validation, this CLI tool can generate a better file for you. So if you remember this prepared file I sent you, this was generated not from my side.
Oh, that would be just another service called file validation service.
Okay.
It turns
Okay.
the text. It turns the text into a proper model, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, for example, it can add endings, proper endings for each prompt and completion, and if the file format is JSON, it converts into JSON-L and stuff like that.
Nice.
Pretty
Nice.
useful tool.
Right.
We can still offer that tool, Elbic. We can basically go and say, here's your architecture. You could have a file validation service in here with a file validation broker, and that's still going to be a part of the file orchestrate. I'm totally on board with that. I love that idea. Thank you for this. I appreciate that. What does Abu Ghazal have to say? Would we have two different services to read? No, this is not CQRS. I don't play that game. No, sir. No. Nah. Is that what you're going for, Rami? CQRS? Read somewhere and write somewhere? Is that what you're trying to do? Usually I try to make sure that services are around a model and not around actions. So you'll never see me go and say student reading service or student retrieval service. No, no, We're not gonna do that. Not gonna do it this way. But to your point, Elbic, I think that's a great point. And this is gonna be a little bit of an extended 2 week sprint to kind of get this out because this is good. That's what we're basically doing, right? Um, Nero Lauda. I hope I'm saying your name right. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm just mispronouncing. A file content us just an array of byte. Yeah, a stream, right? Brian, what's the difference between a byte array and a stream? Sorry, putting you on spot and asking you hard interview questions. You
Um,
you decided to join me in this. You know I'm gonna be asking you weird questions, so
if a byte array is just an array of bytes, a stream is a formatted array of bytes, a stream of bytes. The difference between that and a stream is you may or may not know the length of the stream. Streams are unknown. They can start and never end.
Nero Lauda says, create something simple that just manage an array of bytes. Well, it carries a lot more than bytes for the stream, right? Does it carry some file information and stuff like that? Or is that
That
baked into the bytes array?
that would be an easy answer, but the problem with that is we may have up to a gigabyte of
Oh my
bytes.
God.
Mm.
Oh my Lord.
And that won't work in a lightweight device, which is where our library could end up.
Okay, look, I think if we say local file service, it's okay. I'm okay with that. Unless someone feels a real heartburn about that, and I really want to hear your opinion. You know why? Because I couldn't give two rats ass about what the system is if people are not feeling comfortable with what's being done. It's about you, actually. A lot of engineers think about, oh, it's about the product. We need to get it out the door. No, silly. It's about you being entertained doing this. Because this is going to turn into legacy at any point in time. You won't until you die, maybe, but you won't.
Kaylee's asked the question in private chat.
What is it, Kay? Tell me what you got. So if the file ends up being 1 GB, do we need a queue? Kailu, why do you have to ask hard questions? It's up to them. It's up to their processing. You know, I don't know how to answer that question. I don't know. It's up to their memory. We need to just handle saying, hey, this file is too large. And we also need to be able to handle a bad gateway exception because the OpenAI API could time out on you.
Plus a cancellation token, you might drop out
Yes.
because it could be a
I
large.
know I know you want to push the cancellation token into our structure. I know what you're doing.
Yes, you can see it.
All right, listen, this is gonna be the architecture. I think this is a good start, at least, and then we see how we feel about it. sleep on it. Like don't take it. What do you want to call this, Elbic? File validation service? But if this is a file validation service, it shouldn't be generating a another JSON L file, son. I'm sorry, Elbic. We're gonna have to skip that one, and I'm gonna let the API kind of throw the exception for now as a bad request, and then we'll circle back to this whole generation thing. It could be its own kind of service. I'm sorry, son. I know you wanted to put that in there, but it's not gonna happen. It's just life. Deal with it. Sometimes you get the cookie, sometimes you get nothing. Sometimes you get a cucumber. You didn't know what you're gonna get. That's just life. All right, let's do it this way. So local file service, and then, oh, these guys need to be a lighter. And this is a great opportunity because we haven't talked about orchestration services to the broader community yet, even though there are some bits and pieces and videos and all that where, we talk about orchestration service, we demonstrate orchestration services, but this is a great, if you really want to see orchestration services, go check out Levent, a local event library. In the diagram, where does the stream enter? The file is via the file broker, right? If you are, that's a great question, and thank you for asking this. If you are the client sitting here, we're going to give you both options. You can push the stream from here if you like. So you are the consumer, so this is a client. So you're pushing the stream from here, or you are passing in a path, and the stream will come from here. Actually, we need a file in here. That's a bad architecture. Can you believe they call me a solutions architect and I don't know how to draw diagrams like a normal person? There you go. So here's a file, right? And that's a weird file. Let's do it this way. There you go. So the stream could come from two different ways. These are the options that we're talking about, right? So people will have the overload capability to pass in a stream directly or give us the path of the file. And I can guarantee you 9 people out of 10 are just going to give you the path. Be like, screw that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go create a stream. There's still a legitimate case where the stream is coming from a database or coming from an API, in which case this option is not an option. Okay, so you won't actually be able to. And why did I put the arrow like this? Like I told you, I am a fraud software architect. There you go. So this is it. This is the deal. I don't know, Felipe, if that clears the point. And then the OpenAI broker is just basically going to go talk to the API through. We need a cloud in here because we don't know what the heck is going on there. Here's a cloud, and they basically talk to OpenAI, and that's pretty much it, like this. Oh, so this is an orchestration service. You see how we really strongly, this is the standard for you, right? We really honor the single responsibility. You have a thing that reads files, and you have a thing that uploads files to the API, and they have their own services with their own validations and test-driven development. And then you have an orchestration that delegates the work but doesn't do the work. Remember this rule. Every class should either do the work or delegate the work, but not both. If you follow that rule in your system design architecture, it doesn't matter how big your system gets. You'll be able to maintain it and run it forever. So that's the plan, right? So where do we start? We can start with this one here.
We're going to start with RESTful sense. Keep bringing you back to that. I'm sorry. We can't go forward without the RESTful sense because we can't even do the broker.
Can we build the file broker today, Brian? Not the OpenAI file broker, but the file broker that just read the file from disk.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
But we have to do the RESTful sense. I agree. Elbic, let's do a broker. I just want a PR to get out something, This seems like a low-hanging fruit. We can do this so easy. And then we take the time to do the service. This is gonna be a two-weeker sprint because there's all these orchestrations and foundation services that we have to build, and then the exceptions that we handle on top of that. It's gonna be fun. Go for it, son. Let's go to town. This is gonna be the easiest broker you've ever write, by the way. So just don't give me that grumpy, ugh, What am I doing? Don't give me that. Brian, can you ask OpenAI ChatGPT what kind of exceptions file, open file, or read file gives? If you don't mind, because we're gonna need those as well. Kailu, we could do a draft foundation service PR, just the happy path, calling the API endpoint and returning a stream. You want to do that? Do you want me to do it? Kailu's on mute, but he's chatting with us in the private. Okay, cool. So Elbic does this. We create this. So this is going to be our sprint map then. You know, what we're going to do is that we basically going to go and say, you know what, while Elbic is getting ready, I'm going to flatten all of these like this. And, you know, the things that I mark in orange, these are things that are in progress. Nero Lauda says, to me, the orchestrator is just a mediator. Like a mediator pattern? What do you think about that, Brian? Do you think our orchestration services are mediators? Brian is like, I hope he stops asking me these weird questions. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
They're similar.
The only problem and there, like, if you mean mediator in the generic sense, yes. But if you mean mediator as in the pattern where you pull in external libraries to do that work for you, that's a hard no from us. Because you shouldn't be pulling external libraries into your core business logic. What's your interface look like, brother?
I was researching on reading file, so doesn't have anything yet.
Oh, you just return a stream and you just say, what should we say, Brian? Read file? Read file?
Yeah.
And then just give it a path. Why is it async? Is it async? Do you actually read asynchronously?
I don't know.
I don't think it's async.
Fast. Okay.
How? Like, think about it. You know, how do you read file asynchronously? Is that a thing? I don't know. I'm giving him a hard time. He's like, please leave me alone.
Yeah, how do I read the file? File
You just
info?
do
Should I
file dot.
create?
No, dude, just type file dot
Uh,
and then just say open. Is it open? Open? Yeah, open
okay.
read. There you go. Gee, drama. Just unnecessary drama for no reason. What? I told you this is gonna be the easiest thing you do. But do you
Oh,
know
really?
why?
Is that it?
Yeah, do you know why I told you to do it? Because you've never ever written a broker that reads from a local file.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why. If I
These
gave
corp
this to
these
if I gave
corporate guys. Wow.
if I gave this to Brian or Kailu, be like, is this a joke? But you're the only one that'd be like, what do I do?
Really? Uh,
It's like not knowing puts you as a target in this group to do the things that you exactly not know. That's literally me pulling you out in the out of your comfort zone.
yeah.
But that's what makes us stronger engineers.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. You know,
Mm.
that's why the people I work with, they'll be like, "Damn, Hassan, wherever you go, we want to come with you." I'll be like, "But I'm torturing you." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but it's for my own good." You know. Anyway, I'm
And
Feels
where
feeling.
do
good.
I
It, fe-
register?
it feels good when it stops.
Okay.
Look, I think that's why Paul Wardy always comes back. You know, because it's mean. You know, Callum was saying, look, if you don't find an answer to this question on spot in front of 12,000 people subscribe to this channel, he's gonna publicly execute you by just telling you. You know, but in reality, it's really putting you on spot to kind of think about these things and grow in that direction. And I think that's what I'm doing to myself. Like, by the way, on streams, have you guys seen me? I get stuck on stream. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't know what to do. Do you remember the first couple of sessions? of this, doing the dependency injection, and I forgot that it's private. It's okay. I'll take it, man. That's how you grow. All right. I'm taking your PR here, son. Okay, Lou, on standby. I'm gonna merge this and then create a foundation service for us, please. You know what to do, right? By the way, on the side, Yusuf and our friend from Iceland, Gumaminder, they're kind of collaborating. He creates the issue, he works on it, and back and forth. I like this. I like this energy that's going on. Um, Nero said no, no, no external library. So he's basically saying, oh, it's just a pattern of mediator. Yeah, it is. It is. I agree. Okay, let's take a look at this. And I'm sorry about the PRs that I haven't looked at yet. I merged a couple of them this morning, but okay, file reader. We need an issue, right? So here's an issue. Do we have an issue for it actually? I don't think we do. Brokers, read file, and I need a template for an issue that I will be fixing in a bit. But let me steal this. So if we're gonna write issues, we better write them right. Okay, so the ask here, so if I go back to here, this is the ask, right? And the function reads a file that from disk and returns a stream, right? How to complete this task? Build a required model? Nope. Build correspond? Nope. Implement? Nope. Just implement. Just implement file open read in here. Why am I writing this documentation even though we've done it? Because the people that will go look at the PR and try to understand where it came from, you
Yeah.
know, will appreciate that. So open read like this. Okay. Post the issue in a comment. I claim this issue. You'll be given 24 hours, like more like 24/7 on a 24 seconds on a stream. And here you go. Bam, bam, bam. And then helpful links. Nope, you don't need the dedicated. You build brokers. There you go. So that's the issue, my friend. And that will be issue 324. Let me add it for you in here.
Uh,
You already got it? No?
yeah.
Okay, go for it. All right, let's just get the happy path at least. You know, that's where Kailu is gonna jump in. Kailu, I'm adding in your PC stream here.
I posted,
And
yep, I posted the errors in Discord.
oh, there. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. Perfect. We're gonna need those for the foundation. Okay, let's see here. So you have argument exception, argument null, directory not found. Good. File not found. Beautiful. Unauthorized access. That's the one that Rami was talking about. Not supported on IO. Yeah, we're gonna have to handle all of these. It's gonna be fun. So, okay, I'm merging this in. Kailu, feel free to pull from master and just give me the happy path. Brian, you're on standby to make this path.
I'll try not to get coffee on my fingers.
So let me tell you something I asked ChatGPT about today because Kailu's not going to be talking while he's writing codes, just so you guys understand. So I'm going to be doing the talking here. Um, so something that came to my mind while I was talking, you know, that just thinking about ChatGPT and all that, and um, I said to it, you know, I'm going to give you a sentence and I want you to speak it as if you are a pikey, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. It doesn't say how. It's puts an apostrophe and says OW. Ow,
Yep,
how's it going for you? Or something like that. It's hilarious. Hold on. We gotta try this. Well,
I've
Kailu
done
just
I've done
mm,
Aussie slang and I've also done the Klingon.
oh, are you serious? You already did yeah. I mean you gotta, right? So say this as if you are a poike. Hello, how are you doing, my friend? Oh, you doing? Oi, how you doing? Me old mucker. Old mucker. What the?
Oddly, as an Australian, I can understand that.
Oh, yeah, how you doing, you old mucker?
Is that English or
That is
No,
English.
That's proper
It's
English.
it's like I mean it's not English and it's not Irish, it's pikey, its own thing. You know what I mean? How about let's get some coding done, fellas.
Phyllis.
All
All
right, me
right.
muckers. Let's crack on with some doing coding in it.
Wow.
Oh, oh man, that's weird. Look how all right. All right, me muckers, let's crack on with some coding in it.
Is it?
Yeah, in England, there's a lot of people that like to say in it a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it's like me saying and like all the time, all the time. It's not even funny. All right, so I'm guessing that this foundation servers only have this dependency on this broker, and it basically needs to handle all the exceptions that come out of that broker and converts it into localized exceptions that will be dependency validation exception. We're just gonna get the happy path out of the way. Elvic, do you mind writing the issue for
Yeah,
the
issue. Oh,
appreciate it.
yeah, let me see.
So Brian, you use muckers too in Australia? You say muckers?
Not often, but I've heard it. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Oh my god. All right. Let's do it, okay. You're on standby, Parker, to make that test pass, just FYI.
Yeah, just loading
Nothing
my.
serious, mate. Just
It's all right. I got it all sussed. She'll be apples.
if Wardy was here, he would laugh senseless, at this whole thing. Be like, "Oh my God, why are you?" This is Paul Wardy for you. I have a question. Hassan, you said in the standard that we're supposed to do it this way. It's like, oh man, here we go. Here we go. No, I like Paul Wardy. He's great. He's a good guy. And he's very, very patient with me. All right. Well, the real question is here. Oh, Kailu, it's local file service, not IO file service. Sorry, mate. Forgot to tell you about that one. See, now I'm saying mate and nonsense like that. So you hang out around people so much, you start speaking weird accent, weird things. Thanks, sir. If there's only a way to, Brian, do you know any tricks in Visual Studio to, well, other than find and replace, I can't really think of anything off the top that would kind of take care of renaming namespaces, models, everything. Maybe with AI at some point we'll be able to kind of go and do something crazy like that. But for now,
I was looking at training a model last night that your new rule in the
mm,
as far as the order of properties.
mm, mm.
I've been playing with it a little bit and handing it sections of code and asking it to simplify it. And I keep on passing it back the same bit of code. And it got to the point where it actually started just removing the parameter names.
Someone just just for people watching the stream to know, there's a new rule that I just published, that basically says if you are defining a model, like let's say your model has ID, name, date of birth, you can't go and instantiate that model with date of birth, ID, and name. You're gonna have to honor that order. And then there's this architect on LinkedIn that reached out. He basically left a comment there. He said, "This is nonsense. We should order alphabetically." I was like, okay, if you want to order alphabetically, that means you're gonna have to create a date come before ID. Does that sound like something you would like to look at? I mean, I could understand this rule in CSS classes like styles and stuff. But do you really want to put created date and I don't know, whatever is out there, date of birth before ID? Because these are C and D, they come before I. So he said, "Oh, well, now you're talking about a specific scenario." I was like, "Oh, that's the most common scenario. That's the most common scenario, right? These are the models we're talking about." I said, "I have no interest." It's like, "Well, your standard is not someone else's standard." So, oh my God, I never heard that before. Of course it's not, but we need to have something. We need to start somewhere, right? If anything, the standard is always going to be in draft mode. That's the book that's always in draft mode, and this is the only way we can just kind of get going. I have to tell you, the standard single-handedly can cut down at least 20 to 30, maybe 40% of the time engineers get into arguments over nonsense about how they're going to implement a method or do an architecture and completely forget about the actual purpose while they're writing the code. It takes care of that argument. We're like, well, let's go back to this book and see what it says. And if we think that that rule doesn't make sense, then let's change the book. Let's just create a pull request or an issue and let's change it. It's going to be interesting endeavor. But the other thing that they wanted to talk about is how are we going to mock a stream? How are we going to generate a stream? That's going to be interesting. I don't know if the filler is going to be able to do that, but hey, Kylo, give it a shot. See what happens.
Can't you just generate a memory stream? Put some rubbish
Ow,
in it?
ow. So you just created a random byte array.
Yeah, and then just construct the memory stream around it.
So we create a random string and then turn it into byte array and then create a
Or,
stream.
or just a random byte array.
Kylo, do you want to give me this one to try? I think he's typing something. Or maybe, yeah, what is he saying? I am asking ChatGPT. Okay.
It's a sign of things to come.
Okay,
Oh,
Kay. Kay has become a prompt engineer. That's what they call them these days, prompt engineer. They basically they're validators for whether what AI is generating is true or not. Okay.
I'm gonna have to create a plugin for Stack Overflow.
Did you see? Did you see what Stack Overflow did? They put a ban on any answers that are AI generated. You guys know about this, right?
Good.
Yep, they basically went and said, just for the people that haven't seen this yet. So this is Stack Overflow rule on ChatGPT, and they basically in December, a few weeks after launch of ChatGPT, Stack Overflow announced that it had banned the use of AI tools generated as answers on the platform, citing concerns about accuracy of such answers. Well, why are they concerned about accuracy of such answers though? Because engineers are just going to go and pick up that answer and go validate to see if it's a good
Mm.
answer or not. So that's not a good excuse, but there's something else in there.
There's a lot of people just answer questions for the points. I see it all the time.
Just to get the
Yeah,
point so they can get ranked up.
yeah,
And if the answer looks right, even though
yeah.
people don't validate, ha.
You'd be surprised how many people tick an answer that they've never validated.
Oh boy. Just copy pasta, slap it
Mhm.
into this production code. Don't test it. What is testing? I had this interesting discussion with a CTO once. He was talking about, how um, you're in a startup, you just want to get something out the door. Don't worry about testing and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, well, your application is gonna fail at the moment you really need it to work the most. It's gonna blue screen of death on you. Have you guys seen when Bill Gates was demoing Windows 95 and it blue screen of death on him in front of 100,000 people? It was bad. Let me show you. It was really bad. Let me show you here. So if you go to Bill Gates blue screen of death. So this happened. Tell me if you can you guys hear it? Okay. You can't hear it.
No.
Okay. Let me see if I can share sounds here because sound is part of the fun on this whole thing. Yeah, share audio You should be able to hear it.
Hey, I see you plugged in a new
Now we
device.
can.
Okay, now check this out. So this is really old, Windows 98. They were basically demoing putting the printer, in Windows 98 and actually running. It was a printer or a scanner. So let's just see what happens.
It's going to say, hey, I see you plugged in a new device, and it's going to load in the appropriate drivers. You'll notice that this scanner build, whoa.
Can you hear how many people just blue screened to death on the midway? It was bad. It was bad. I don't know why people are clapping. I don't know why people are clapping.
Moving right along.
That must be why we're not shipping Windows 98 yet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it must be why they're not shipping Windows 98 yet. So it was bad. It blue screened to death midway, and it was like a big day because this is during the heat of competition between Microsoft and Apple, right? And Steve Jobs is talking about plug and play, extension of a human being, and these folks are blue screening of death in front of hundreds of thousands of people. It was bad. Anyway, looks like Kailu found a way for it. File stream. That might be an overkill there, okay? What do you say? No, it's wrong. Just give it to me, bro. I'll try. Give it a shot. Give it to me. Put should read file whip and just give it to me. Let's see if we can get this in 15 minutes. We just need a happy path, that's all. Elbic, the issue's created, right? We already have that. Thanks. Hey, Rahul. You guys know who Rahul is, right? Monk. Yeah, that's Monk.
Oh.
Yeah, our Monk. Yeah, that guy. He's really cool. He's really, really cool. He translated a big portion of the standard in Spanish. I really appreciate that. Monk is from Spain. All right. Okay, it's out. Let me sync this up and let's get this out. So we need to create a stream, right? Yeah, I think I am. See, amigo. Let's see. So let me go into this and remotes and then file. There is Kailu, file read, and then I'm gonna sync this up for the tests. Should be super quick and dirty. Thank you, Kay. Okay, have fun. Kailu's like, I'm done with this. It doesn't generate. I don't even know if maybe Object Fair will be able to do something with it, my dude. I don't know. So AI model chat, what did you call it, Kay? Local files? There it is. There's local files and then create random stream, right? So if I just go and say return new filler with stream like this, right? And I say create just for now, I'm just testing it out, right? And I go and do this and just kind of test it out. So here's a fact, public void foo, and then just var stream equal create random stream like this. What happens if I do it this way? Control RT, see what that does. Okay, we have an error and it's saying object filler interface mocker. Oh look, mocker from the Pikey, except with the O, and it's basically saying missing the type stream, so it doesn't know how to create a stream. Cool. Now let's create some garbage. New mnemonic string dot get value or something like that. And then if I want to create a stream, do you just say stream dot
Memory stream, a new memory stream.
no memory stream? Okay.
Yep.
There you go. And that memory stream takes what? A buffer? There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can basically return a stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's it. So let's do that. I love it. this works great for me. So get random stream, and then what I'm gonna do here is, I will just go and say, string random content. Did you know that this new, like when I say mnemonic string dot get value, you could actually pass parameters in here. I'm going to show you something really crazy. I can just go public static int get random number, right? And I can basically go here and say, watch this, new int range. Let's have it from 2 to 10 max. I love that it's reading my own code, stealing my code in front of me. I love it. And basically, I can go here and say, hey, word count, and then give me this random number. See what it's doing here? So I'm basically going and saying, I wanna get a bunch of these, like not just one word, but a bunch of them. Okay. So here, random word count equal get random number, right? And this random word count will go here.
Can you do me one favor? Is when you create that stream, just rewind the pointer to the start.
Rewind the pointer to the start.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So after you write to it, it'll be at the end, which won't simulate what a open read will look like.
How do I do that?
You can use seek on the stream. So pull the stream out into a memory variable. That's yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Then you on the memory stream itself, you should be able to do a seek.
Memory stream seek.
Yep.
Seek.
And it should go
0.
Yep.
Seek origin begin like this.
Yep. Perfect.
Isn't it like this by default, Brian?
But you've just written to it. You just filled the stream.
Oh, really? So if I just go return memory.
Hang on. Beg your pardon. You've done a new. Sorry. I'm fiddling with streams. I normally fill it with stuff and then I've got to reset it to new. But that new, so of course you did a new, it should be 0. I'm sorry. I beg your pardon.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Hold on. So
I'm overthinking it.
So I don't need this, right? Because
No.
it's already doing it from scratch. Okay. Cool.
Because you use the constructor. I'm sorry.
We're cool. I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. You're cool. We cool. Okay. So memory stream, create random stream. Okay, and then let's create a new file in here. And this new file, I hope the Kylo did this partial. I really hope so. So let's go back here. Here is dot read dot logic dot read. Right. I hope the screen is good for people to read this. Why is this guy tripping? Because I copied that. Great. So it is partial. Thank you, K. You already did that part. Control KA will take care of that. KE will take care of that. And then all the way up here, clean up. And then here's a failing test. Fact public void should read file given when then, and then here is my string random path. Oh, did you guys do random path or no for input parameter for the thing? Anyone? Let's see. Kailu, where is your local files? Is this under models? Why is this guy not included? Kailu, you pushed that file, right? You should have. Chat completions, show hidden files. Well, it must be there because otherwise, how would it know about this guy? So this local file guy must be somewhere. Where is it? Services foundations. Okay, and oh, this guy needs to be called local file. There you go. Local file service, and this will be local file service as well. Okay, now does this guy take an input parameter? Yeah, it does. Good, great. It's fantastic. Okay, so we need to generate a path basically. So here, public, a private static string get random file path. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you can object failure dot dynamics.objectFiller. Can it give me something about file directory path pattern generator? This would generate something like a pattern generator or something like that, but it actually doesn't matter. It's okay. Mnemonic string dot get value. There you go. And then I want to go back here and say get random file path. It should be create, right? Create random file path because this is not a sequence of anything. There you go. And then if I go back here, so it's my random file path and then string input file path. This is my random file path right here. And I want to basically go and say I want to create a random stream. So this is stream, random stream, create random stream, and then stream returned or red stream, right? So that's random stream. I don't know if deep clone will work on that one, and then expected stream. So that will be red stream in here, deep clone. I hope that works. Do we not have deep clone in there? Okay. So now I can set up this mock. So file broker mock setup, and here's your broker, and then broker.read file input path, and then this guy returns red stream. We changed the naming like this so it fits the context, even though it's the same value. So here's another stream, which is actual stream, and then this dot service dot read file, and here's your input path. And then I want to go here and say, actually, oh, well, it'll be interesting to see if this guy can actually compare two streams together, right? It doesn't have be equivalent to. It's interesting. So be same as, is that what we want to do? Expected stream. And then this dot mock verify broker dot read file inputs file path has been called once. And then we want to make sure that nothing else has happened. Verify no other calls. Right here like this. And that's a failing test. So let's see, Control KE will clean that up. And I also know that in this file we had a thing that's missing. Yeah, there you go. And then Control KE here will clean that up. Control minus will bring me back to this file. Let's run this and see what happens. What did Kailu say? It's empty. What is empty? So this should throw not implemented exception. Good. Parker, take it. Let's go. Fail. And then we create that passing thing, and then we iterate tomorrow. Should there be using statements around streams so they are closed and disposed? That's a good point. Where do we put the using? Do we put it around? Where do we put it, Rami? Do we put it in the service itself, or when we're generating it? Where does it go? Fat arrow this one, please, Parker.
Okay. Sure. We'll be unfattoing it.
I know it will. But if it's the end of time tomorrow, and we are all gone as human beings, and aliens came to Earth, they'll be like, actually, these guys honored the standard to the last moment, even though they knew they're gonna change it. That's how we show ourselves as humans, you know. Anyway. Rami says when the stream is created in the tests. Maybe. Do you want to push a code drop for it or prove the opposite? You know, like that. I'll open the PR Rami on draft mode and feel free to push straight to it. I think you are a contributor on this project at this point in time, so you shouldn't have any problem with it. And Neurolauda says, if you close the stream before the post, I suppose it cannot work. Okay. This is why I suggested to manage an array and not a stream. That's a good point.
We passed.
That's it. Put a pass in there. And let's see.
What's the name of that? What's the name of that one we just did? Just, yep, is this the one? Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Rami and Nero Lauda are raising some interesting concerns. Okay, it's pushed. All right,
Yep.
that's it for tonight. We need to complete the rest of this foundation service tomorrow. But that basically, if we look back at the architecture, if we really want to see how I track status on things, I mean, Agile boards are so old school, dude. We could just have a nice map like this if we have a standard, and now we know where we're at. So this is where we at, right? And Elbic, I'm assuming we never touched anything in OpenAI broker for files, not just yet, right?
No,
Because
no.
because of this whole RESTful sins thing. So there's a blocker
Yeah.
for it, right? In fact, this guy should actually be red, meaning that it's blocked, and we can't move forward with it unless this is actually figured out. Parker, how do you want to do the RESTful sins stuff?
I will dedicate some time for you before the next episode.
I appreciate it. So the path forward.
I know it's going to take me a good 2-3 hours to make sure it's done right. I know it's going to be pretty easy, but I just want to take a deep look at it.
Please do that, Brian. I appreciate you. I rely on you on this because what's really going to happen is that this is a blocker for us. We're not able to move forward without this. And if this is thank you, Nora. I appreciate it. If you can unblock us on this, I think we can. I have OCD. Deal with it. If someone is posting something, I'm gonna pull it out mid sentence, and I'm gonna go
I
back to the original.
just like that last comment. He said mates at the end.
Oh yeah. I don't know him. I don't know that guy. I don't know where he's from. Nero, where you from? It sounds French to me, but French people don't say mates. Anyway. Okay, so if you can unblock this, you have Christo. He's amazing. If you push something and you decide it's in good shape, I trust both of you wholeheartedly.
I'll bounce it off you and Christo and maybe even Paul. So. Yeah.
Oh, he's from Italy. Hey, is ChatGPT still blocked in your country? I saw Pizza GPT. Did you see what the Italians engineers did? They basically look. They basically said, "Hey, the government is gonna block us, right?" So what did they do? They went and did this. Watch this. Watch this. Pizza GPT. Hold on, I need to see the actual site. Yeah, there it is. In Italy, right? It basically, so the government, yeah, yes, it is. We need to use VPN. Also, it works with VPN. But what about the API though? Is the API is also blocked? Like if you use our library and you pass in OpenAI, does it let you or does it block you as well? It's probably also blocked. So anyway, what the Italian engineers did, they went and said, "Oh, you're gonna block ChatGPT? I'm gonna create Pizza GPT dot Italy, and I'm gonna ask a question. Should we add what is it? Pineapple on pizza?" I think that's why they blocked ChatGPT. That's the real reason right there. Oh, it's not it's not answering. It just decided. What happened? Did it get blocked again? What happened? It's not working. Hold on. Hold on. Hello. How do I say hello in Italian? What do you say? Um, Not hola, that's Spanish. Hello in Italian. Ciao. Okay, there you go. Come on, talk to me. Did they destroy it? I think they destroyed it. Oh, shikes. It was trying to say something though, and then it died. Oh my God, they blocked it. Yeah, there you go. Ciao. Yeah. Yep, that's the reason. Pineapples on pizza. That's exactly why ChatGPT was. It's not about privacy. It's about people who are asking whether you can put pineapple on pizza. Look, if you want to see what happens, can we put pineapple on pizza? Look, we learned the lesson, but I can tell you that the topic of putting pineapple is highly debated and controversial one.
Is that a real thing?
It's not. It's
What?
not the it's not, but ChatGPT used to have a much simpler answer. It was just, yeah, you can. And then after the ban, now it's been like, look, it's a controversial. I don't want to get involved. I just want to let you know that I'm unbiased. Anyway, all right, guys. Thank you so much, and also for the I appreciate the laugh, and hopefully people, Nero Lauda, just so a part of this stream and this work is that we're gonna end up implementing something called SPAL, Standardized Provider Abstraction Library, which will have us kind of go explore running an OpenAI model or similar locally offline on your machine. So whether, people block OpenAI or not, it doesn't matter because you can still benefit from AI on your local machine. You can publish it locally, you can host it, you can share it with other people. That's the whole point. I want you to be able to stand up an entire AI model locally without having to pay money for an API or anything. But other than that, this is fun, I think, a little bit of fun. Let's meet tomorrow. It's going to be a 2 week sprint. You guys know this because there's going to be a lot of work involved. And Brian, I appreciate up ahead, appreciate the work that you're putting in. Thank you all so very much. See you tomorrow. Take care.